To me, Kunta is a universal symbol. Everybody can relate to and identify with the feelings that that kid had going on in his mind, the happiness, the family, the kind of family feeling that he had growing up in Africa, and then being captured, the fear and the pain and suffering. Everything he went through, everyone can identify with around the world. And he's a universal subject. He's a universal character. To me and to a lot of people, Kunta Kinte will live forever.
Film production began en route in April 1976 outside of Savannah, Georgia. The location was picked because of its striking similarities to the west coast of Africa. Actors and crew assembled here to begin what would become 6 months of filming. The spirit on the Roots set, both here and later in Hollywood, was unusual. Actor George Stanford Brown describes it.
I don't know, it was just an excitement that permeated the place, the whole set. Everyone was involved and knew that it was a good project and it was worthwhile, that it was the best material that had been done before, particularly for black performers. And it affected everyone, the crew, the white performers, everyone was just affected by it. And it was a feeling of great kinship. That's the thing that I remember most.
I think we all felt, the black and the white actor, that we were working on something very special. I don't think we predicted anything as tremendous as it finally came, which has a lot to say for America.
It was a unique television experience, a unique historical experience, and I certainly never anticipated it, and I don't think anyone else did.
With production completed en route, ABC television executives Brandon Stoddard and Lou Rudolph, seen here, informed producers Stan Margulies and David L. Wolper of the decision to broadcast Roots on 8 consecutive nights. What happened next made television history. The country went Roots crazy. Concerts were canceled, restaurant business dropped, bars either closed or showed Roots instead of sporting events. Las Vegas and movie theaters reported the income sharply reduced. The critical reception of Roots followed the public one as the programs earned a record 37 Emmy nominations in 14 categories. Roots went on to win 9 Emmys, plus 50 other awards, including the Television Critics Circle Award as the best television program of the year. The final Nielsen tabulations showed that the concluding chapter of Roots was the most watched television program in history. In fact, all 8 episodes placed among the top 13 of all time.
I think that the reason that people came back to watch Roots night after night, that it commanded such an enormous audience, is because it was telling people about an institution that is most central in their own lives. In other words, it was telling them about the family. And this was something that crossed lines of color and of ethnicity. And it represents the fact that the family in American society today is an enormously important institution.
And white America responded with understanding.
It did indeed.
And black America found that there was even less reason to be bitter and hostile, because there was understanding and sensitivity brought to the whole country as a result of viewing those 12 hours.
To help foster that understanding, over 200 colleges gave academic credit to those who watched Roots on the air. The film is now a teaching tool at all educational levels, from kindergarten to college. The impact of Roots has been diverse. In the weeks that followed the program, many newborns were named after leading characters from the drama, boys being called Kunta, girls being called Kizzy. Roots also inspired America's fastest-growing hobby, genealogy. At the National Archives in Washington, D.C., Inquiries from Americans searching for their family tree double the week following the show. The Mormons, whose giant repository of genealogical records is located in a vault in this mountain outside Salt Lake City, reported a similar rise in activity. Americans deluged them with requests about how they too could find their roots. Ancestor hunting, or genealogy, is now the third most popular hobby in the United States.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, your seventh great-grandfather.
Its popularity was further indicated by Alex Haley's visit to The Tonight Show.
He was indentured servant.
Haley surprised Johnny Carson with a genealogical chart going back 7 generations.
He was indentured to her captain. His name was James Conaway.
I had a slave in my family?
Well, he was
indentured servant.
That's right.
He was indentured to her captain. His name was James Conaway. I had a slave in my family? Well, he was indentured servant. That's right.
The Mormons, whose giant repository of genealogical records is located in a vault in this mountain outside Salt Lake City, reported a similar rise in activity. Americans deluged them with requests about how they too could find their roots. Ancestor hunting, or genealogy, is now the third most popular hobby in the United States.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, your seventh great-grandfather.
Its popularity was further indicated by Alex Haley's visit to The Tonight Show.
He was indentured servant.
Haley surprised Johnny Carson with a genealogical chart going back 7 generations.
He was indentured to her captain. His name was James Conaway.
I had a slave in my family?
Well, he was
indentured servant.
That's right. And then your second great-grandmother was Sarah Lyle Hook. She was born 1807, and she crossed the plains in a prairie schooner in the 1850s. Have you ever seen a picture of your second great-grandmother?
No, I have not.
Here she is.
I'll be damned. This is my second great...
That's right, your great-great-grandmother.
You've got all the names, Marshall, the Hooks.
Well, we've been working on you.
Looked like it was a long haul in the schooner.
April 16th, 1977. Alex Haley with his brothers George and Julius have come home to their ancestral village, to Juffure in the Gambia, West Africa. It was a triumphant return as villagers from miles away joined in the welcome back to the American Mr. Kinte. The Mandinka natives, none of whom has ever seen a television set, have been made aware of their old friend's achievements. The government has told them how his book has made Juffure an internationally famous village. Because of roots, the Gambian government has declared Juffure a national monument. In the years since the television program, American tourists have flocked to this tiny African village, forcing the government to restrict tours into the area to only 2 days a week. For Alex Haley, this emotional odyssey was highlighted by a reunion with the widow of the griot who first told him the story that climaxed the long search for his roots.
Many of you will remember when I first came to this village in 1967. In the years since that time, I have gone many miles, been many places, researching, and finally was able to determine that our forefather, our great-great-great-great-grandfather, whose name was Kunta Kinte, came from this village.
Kisi jama fana ke dula jamal to. Itlo fana mena ko tele kunda kentele mo wala jawti.
We are a symbol of people whose forefathers came from Africa.
Akot mu farafin dung farafin be tama serleti men yalan ko wala tosano bota farafin du jay tara America.
The culmination of this eventful journey was an unusual family portrait. These are all members of the Kinte family. Some say that more than 20 million slaves were taken from West Africa. It is a rare moment, then, in history when a descendant of one of those 20 million can find his way back to his ancestors' home. Alex Haley's family.
Dude, the substance that blew the whistle on what's the guy who wrote Alex Haley? And Alex Haley hadn't wrote none of that. You know, I was out there doing it because I don't care what you think of me. I know he didn't write it. The senior editor of Playboy magazine, Murray Fisher, wrote all of that stuff, okay? And if you punch up on your computer, Harry Hollander, who wrote one of the best books on Africa called The African, a white boy. Kunta Kinte came out of his book word for word. Huh?
Oh, wow.
And if you take out the trial in upstate New York, where a federal judge made the publisher and Alex Haley pay him $650,000 and then chastised, made him apologize to him in the court, and the judge said, I worked a lot of these cases, but I never saw anybody take something word for word like you have. And
you know what?
Yep.
I would say, like with Tarantino, he said that he said that Django was better than Roots, and a lot of people got mad about that. He said Django Unchained was better than Roots.
It was. It was. It was better than Roots, huh? Well, at least we know where it comes from. When that Kunta Kinte got that book, he couldn't hit that white boy. So who cares? So when you doing the truth, you know how many people got mad at Jesus? Huh? They killed King. Did he make you mad? Huh? Okay, so you gonna pick who you gonna be mad at and who you not, because you don't understand. I just told you just now. And one of the things I think you should do, if we don't have the time now, listen, you got your computer sitting in front of you?
Yes, sir.
You got it in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Then punch up the federal courts in upstate New York, punch up Harry Hollander, who wrote The African and the case. It is right there. Okay? All that crap he was doing wasn't nothing but lies. Huh? Wasn't nothing but lies. That somebody else wrote the truth, but he didn't write it. Huh? He didn't write it. If I know that Alex Haley didn't write Roots and didn't write Malcolm, okay? See, the thing you asked him, he said he hated Malcolm. Listen, he wasn't just working. They recruited Alex Haley out of naval intelligence, okay?
Right.
Now, how I know that and he don't know it, right? All right. Now, when he became world renowned, it was because the articles, while he's supposed to have been with Malcolm, he was doing for Playboy magazine. Okay? He didn't write none of them articles in Playboy magazine. Okay?